Welcome to Nutter Speed Shop. Today, we're here to talk about our favorite swap meet, the Outlaw Grass Drag Swap Meet in Princeton, Minnesota. All right, so first the basics of the swap. The swap is always the same weekend. It's the weekend before Labor Day weekend every year. Not Memorial. Memorial's in the spring.
Yeah.
It's Labor Day. It's in the fall. Well, it's in the end of August. It's a 3-day swap. It's Thursday.
Most people know when Labor Day is.
Well, you know, Memorial, Labor, whatever. I get confused
Easter,
about who
4th
we're
of July.
who we're honoring when. I honor all of them all the time.
That is true.
All right. So it's a 3-day event. It really is Thursday night through Saturday. For a lot of people it is anyways, and we'll talk about that. So there's the basics. The website to the swap is in the description, and it's in the comments. So we want you to check that out. We're going to probably deliberately not name prices and such because we want you to go check their website out. So,
Subject to change.
well, we don't control them. Right? So, all right, guys, let's get to the good part. Here's what we like about this swap. And maybe before we get to that, we should mention we got a few different sections to this. We're going to talk about what we like for the swap. We got some tips for buyers. We got some tips for sellers. You know, and then maybe some swap meet experience will come out. So here's what we like about this swap. All right, for me, number one is that this swap is mostly vintage and classic sleds. It's mostly 70s, 80s, and 90s sleds. Anybody disagree?
No, yeah, I agree.
have to agree with that.
Yeah.
You'll see some modern stuff, but not much.
It's a great ratio. You don't get much rider forward stuff in there, but you get a ton of trailing arms and a fair amount of leaf springs still.
There is, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's definitely leaf spring stuff.
So I like that a lot because that's what I'm into. That's what this channel's about.
Hello.
There's always a great selection of sleds and parts for sale, and sometimes there's free parts.
That's been known to happen.
A lot of times people just bring in their junk and they want to get rid of stuff.
Hey, what are you calling junk?
Well, all right, one time I had a trailer full of OMC parts, you know, Johnson and Evinrude, and I was
junk.
I had sold all my Johnson and Evinrude sleds, and I was getting out of the game, and this younger fellow, maybe 12 at the time, walks up and says, "Can I have these parts?" And I said, "Sure, if your dad agrees." He says, "Oh, my grandpa's here with me." He comes back, and his grandpa's Dan Bishop, you know, from the Twin Ports swap up in Duluth. I'm like, "Yeah, you can have anything.
Please take
Take it all."
Please take the whole pile. I said it's not coming home in my trailer.
Yeah.
It is staying here, so please
Take it all.
take
We-
it all.
we
Grandpa
offloaded-
will always say yes.
Yeah, well, Grandpa has a giant parts barn himself in that case.
Everybody has probably heard of Dan Bishop
Yeah.
up in Duluth. I
Well,
mean,
if they're from around here. If they're watching this from Australia, probably not.
well, there's
We
a
do
chance.
have some
have-
viewers in
We
Australia.
got some Aussie. We got some Aussie friends out there,
Because
mate.
what are they like?
Hey,
Clean the carbs,
in
mate.
the garden, mate.
All right. So you never know, you know, it might be cheap, it might be free, or it might be expensive. You never know. A lot of times there's rare sled parts there. Hard to find stuff. Every year I see people walking away and going, "See these Snow Pro cylinders?" Yeah, every year. Obscure old vintage stuff. I've seen Mascaro parts there, Viking parts there, all sorts of stuff from hard to find makes and sleds, and often
Bullwhip parts.
bullwhip parts. Yeah,
I've seen bullwhip parts there.
Often-
Star parts. I've seen star parts there.
often there's really rare sleds
crap.
that change hands there too.
That's
A
true.
lot of times, so a lot of stuff gets there. One of my favorite things is the Friday night racing under the lights.
That is cool.
I absolutely love it. It's like nothing else.
That is really cool.
was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
we meet up with a bunch of people and we do our little dollar bets on who's going to win.
Yeah.
But it did change.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was just vintage on
Oh.
Friday night,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of members of our group that were racing and winning and coming back
Yep.
to the camp and having a celebration afterwards. But now they started sticking newer sleds in, so it kind of drags the evening out. But
Yeah, it does get long.
I'm sorry if you like newer four-stroke sleds, but I think it sounds like a giant fart going down the track.
no.
I'm just not into it.
Well,
Sorry.
it's a fast
No,
part.
I like a
They're-
turbo sled
They're fast.
running 150 miles an hour, but they had all of Saturday and it used to be Sunday also to do
Yeah.
it, and they took away our Friday night. But
Yeah.
still, yeah, under the lights racing
It's
is
awesome.
great because
Yeah.
we get to hang with everybody, and like
Yeah.
I said, a little bit of side betting.
And
So-
it's just and it just looks cool. I mean,
Yeah.
something about the fact that they're running under the lights. It's not like in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
So we're going to do a patron video after this if
Oh,
you want to
no.
watch it. And the patron video is going to be about our
After
best
this.
Princeton memories. You will have to join the Patreon in order to watch it. But Tommy and I have been going there for 15 years.
Actually, I went there before I even met Nutter one time, but then
Yep.
we've been going pretty much together every year, either swapping or hanging out down in the hill in the camping area. We'll get to that later, the camping area.
Yep.
Yeah, we've always had a good time. We've gotten wet. We'll get to that later.
So if you want to hear our favorite Princeton memories, you're going to have to become a patron. All right. Next on the list, I feel personally that the swap spaces are reasonably priced considering what you get. This swap is super organized. It's super well run. They aren't giving them away, right?
Yeah.
And you can check the website for the prices, but it's got a good clientele. You're going
yeah.
to sell your stuff. Even if it rains, you're still going to sell your stuff.
Yeah.
So
People show up there like ready to buy. Like
Yeah.
this is one of those swaps where you don't get a whole lot of gawkers. Like there's a lot of
yeah.
people strolling around there with the wagons and all that, and we'll get to that. But it just
well,
this is definitely a riders
Well,
type of
it's-
swap meet.
It's the first of the year.
Yeah,
and back to
you're
my
looking for
comment.
stuff, you
Back
know.
to my comment about a great ratio. Part of that is, unlike another very large motorsports-oriented swap meet in this area, this swap meet, I think I said it already, it's relatively pure. There's not a lot of junk.
Oh
So-
yeah, you mean like kitchen sinks,
Yeah.
refrigerators,
Garbage
refrigerators,
disposals. Yeah.
Harley parts.
Women's arts and crafts.
Who wants Harley?
Women's
parts?
arts and crafts. Come on. Why is that at a snowmobile swap meet? They have craft shows for that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's why when you're a swapper, that's why it's a good value for you to buy a space there.
Yeah.
If you need to sell your stuff, the people are coming there to buy that and not just to gawk at the junk show. Another thing I like, they always get tons of food vendors. It's good food. And they sell ice on site. T-shirts, can koozies.
Wait.
Got to keep
you gotta keep your
T-shirts.
beer cold.
Got to keep your beer cold.
Clean the
Keep
carbs.
your beer,
Clean the
carbs.
carbs.
I didn't get the memo apparently. So
No, we're not
sorry
saying
about that.
You were
Clean
out
the
of
carbs.
town. You were out of town.
Yeah. We're talking about T-shirts later when we get to apparel.
Wait, I like one more thing.
What's that, Dennis?
I like the location. It's
It
not
is.
too far. It brings people from up north. It also brings people from the cities.
It brings
from
people
Iowa.
from Canada,
Yeah.
from Illinois, from Wisconsin, from Michigan,
Oh, we'll cover that.
all over. So,
It's
all right, here's another one of my favorite things. The friendly and efficient swap haulers. Huge shout out to my buddy Brian.
Brian.
We love you, Brian.
Brian has helped us.
Yeah, those guys are really, and they're very efficient, and they're everywhere.
All
Like,
right.
like if you need them, they're
Yeah.
there.
You
Well,
walk-
you do have to go get in line, but the old guy that ran the line last year was a hoot. So when I was sitting in line, we were just bullshitting. That guy was funny as hell. It was a good time.
yeah, and that spot's centrally located too.
Yep,
Where you
yep.
get them, you know. It's
Yeah,
up
where
by
you
the
go.
beer
They have it
tent,
organized.
on the top of the hill
Yep.
there.
So I think it's the best swap hauling I've ever encountered.
Oh yeah. You
Um,
can get a dead sled hauled in a matter of
Oh
moments.
yeah,
most
well,
of the time.
Well-
didn't take us long. Didn't take us long to get A couple of sleds loaded up and out of there last year.
Peak time on Friday with about 2 in the afternoon is when they do the bulk of their hauling. You might have a wait of 20 or 30 minutes, but geez, how else are you going to get that sled out to your car?
Right.
And then they always help you lift it up. And so here's another point I want to make about the swap haulers. Now, I don't know if this is true every year, but last year, if you tipped them, they were donating it to either back to the club or to a charity. They don't keep the tips, but they do accept tips.
Really?
So tip them well. Yeah. And even if they did keep them, they deserve it.
They're donating a lot of time and resources. To
They
try,
are.
You know, it's
And
their,
they're
but they
out
do
there.
it.
They
It's their
do it 'cause it's
personal
fun.
ATVs that they're towing these things with.
And these are all people from local clubs, right? Swap hauler Brian probably lives 20 minutes from where we're filming this right now. You know, they're all good local people for us. All right, the next thing I like about it, Tommy and I usually show up in Tommy's RV pulling a 20-foot trailer behind it. It's pretty easy in and pretty easy out for a swap meet, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, the pizza's done.
And they
All
do
right.
a good job.
Ding.
And they do a good job of getting the traffic in and out.
Yeah,
You
what-
know, they're not. They don't.
yeah,
they
she's done.
they're very organized about all of that.
All right, so we're going to, before we go for the pizza, I want to get in there because we're going to have a little pizza break here. Everybody running the event is super friendly. You never
yeah.
find a crabby person there. They're all super nice and they're ready to help you. And then my other favorite thing about the event is, and this might take a while, it's the people.
Oh,
I tell people when I'm going to this event, they ask why are you
Including
going.
him?
I'm going to go see 600 of my best friends. You know,
Oh, I get it. I'm a best friend.
you might be,
Yes,
but
I have a friend.
there's so many people that we know from outside of the swapper there, and there's so many people we see once a year at the swap meet, or twice a year, once at the swap and once at the Midwest Ride-In at ERX. And it's great. The people are great. And we want to say, I want to give a special shout out to the Canadians.
The Canucks, come on down.
Mike, Indy
Yeah,
Rob.
Yeah, I love my
Yeah.
Canadian friends.
come on down. You know.
Mike Stratt, Indie Guy Rob, who is a patron,
just
Lloyd
sound like a-
Lloyd Skybaris, love you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Can't wait to see y'all.
Salute to all the Canadians that come down for this swap.
With your Labatt's.
All right, pizza break. We'll be back. Here's our pizza patron moment. Thanks, patrons.
Thanks,
You get in on
patrons.
Tommy's in there too, I think. We really appreciate you guys. We appreciate your support of the channel. We appreciate these beverages and this pizza that you have provided us with today.
Yes, we do.
And we hope you appreciate the patron-only stories that you're going to get at the end of this video. Well, no, not at the end of this video. Separate from this
Separate
video.
from this video. Yeah.
So, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. Let me put this back here.
Yeah, dang.
All right, we're resuming. Cheaters engage.
Oh, jeez.
All right,
Oh, man.
You need the hat with those cheaters.
we're going to talk about the 3 ways to go to the swap. We got the swapper, which is the seller. We got day only, which we call the buyer. And then we got the camper, which is the super buyer. All right.
Or the partier.
Or the partier.
They're
What'd you
usually
say?
the ones that are
Did you
back
say
at
clean
camp
the
cleaning
carbs?
carbs.
Clean the
that.
garbs.
All right, for the swapper,
Swappers.
check the website for rates. Once again, I'm going to have it in the description of the video. I feel the extra $50 for Thursday night is well worth it. Less lines. Probably going to sell a lot of your stuff Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah, this last year, our Thursday night gathering at the party trailer, I think I did better than on Friday and Saturday. And it was mainly amongst friends that were showing up.
Yep.
So that's the thing. And we're hanging out, and it's like, how much do you want for that?
Yeah.
And, and you're going to make new friends on Thursday night if you've never done that before. It's a pretty close-knit community, and everybody's
have one.
pretty friendly. Another reason it's worth the $50 is there will be a line Friday morning.
Yeah.
Now, it moves pretty fast. These people that are putting this on, well, they know what's going on, and they know how to keep it moving. So
They're
don't be
very
afraid of
efficient.
the line.
But yeah, you'll have a lot of your stuff set up. Your tables and stuff will be in place. You'll be in your place. That way, Friday morning, all you got to do is put the stuff out instead
Yeah.
of rolling into
Yep.
your spot.
trying to get all
yeah,
set up
yep.
while people are perusing your
Yeah,
stuff.
they're buying your
Yeah.
stuff before you can even
Yeah,
get it
even
out
get
on
it out
the
of the
table
trailer.
a lot of
Oh,
times
yeah.
if you got
Yep.
the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So we recommend that. And if you watch last year's video, you'll be able to see the first people rolling in on Thursday night that are swappers. We'll pause here before we get to the buyer and add that there's a couple other ways to go to this. One is to be a vintage sled displayer, and that's a tricky club to get into. You probably have to know my friend Valdi and some other people to display vintage sleds. And the other that me and Tommy do.
Is that on the website?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
In the
Yeah, Pooch would know about that
yeah,
too
Pooch.
because he displays every
And
year.
if you don't know who Valdi and Pooch are, good luck with all that. It's probably not going to happen for you. Randy Holland, he'd be another guy to ask about
Yeah,
it.
Randy. You know.
But the other way is to come in, and this is how Tommy and I come in, as a sponsor. And as does our friend Chad, who sponsors from Vintage Sledders. Is it .com or .us now?
.us.
.us.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then also TFU Racing is the other part of their group.
So we come in as Vintage Snowmobile sponsors, and we can come in as early as noon on Thursday. So that's a lot earlier than the swappers can. They can't come in till 5.
But it costs a little extra also, and you have a reserved spot too.
Yeah.
We roll
It
in
does.
to our spot.
But we're sponsoring the swap because we love it that much. So you'll actually see our name in the sponsors. It's probably really tiny, but you'll see us in there. So, all right, back to this. The next way to come in is a day-only person or the typical buyer. Now, there's usually not a lot of line. You come in off of 169, and instead of coming in off of 95, it's cheap. It's the cheapest way to get into the swap. We want to talk about the stuff that you should bring when you come as a day-only buyer. And this probably applies to any buyer.
Yeah.
Always bring a wagon or a cart or a two-wheel dolly with a big bucket on it. You got to have something to haul your smalls.
Or a strong-ass friend.
Or a strong-ass
Yeah,
friend.
This
Or
is true.
teenage kid.
That you can feed beers to.
Or a kid.
But if you're just
all our kids are.
if you're trying to
grown,
carry
right?
everything you
teenage,
buy
yeah.
in your arms,
They're not coming.
Right.
all right.
Yeah, and at times you buy something, you say, "Can I pick it up later?" Well,
No.
I ended up having people not come back for their stuff. Then what do we do as sellers?
And I've had people leave, but never been screwed. They just leave, and my items just sitting in their empty spot.
Oh, wow.
No, everybody's pretty honest there.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever been ripped off to my knowledge. Not for me, anyways. Swap haulers are very happy to get stuff out to your car and trailer if you're a day-only buyer. Don't forget what we said about the trailer-only parking. You're still going to come in off of 169. Just watch the signs for that. Park in the trailer spot.
And there's people there that are helping
Yeah,
direct that traffic and stuff. That
There
again,
are.
going back to the people are great. Like they really are. They're friendly and they're helping like get you where you need to go.
Yep.
So yeah.
You said trailer only. You meant day only.
No,
Well, if they
there's a
bring in a
trail.
trailer
There's
to
a
pick
separate
stuff
lot
up.
with
Oh, okay.
trailers,
Yes.
and that lot also is where people that are camping but not swapping go.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a
Which brings
combo.
us to the next and least well-known option, but you can look it up on the website. Once again, in the description, the camping option.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
So you, the rates are pretty damn cheap for this. Way, way less than a swap space. And you end up where the trailer parking is, and you end up right by another entrance to the swap meet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just down
You
the
know,
hill from the swap meet.
just-
Yeah, it's a great deal. And
It's a
you'll be
great deal.
kind of, Tommy and I, you'll go up the hill and over, and Tommy and I will be right there.
And a couple of years we didn't swap and we camped down
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And we were in kind of a low spot and we saw a storm coming and we decided we were going to get out of there in time.
Wait, that's a patron story.
Yeah, well, no, but we decided because I was afraid to get my camper stuck because
Yeah.
Not
it's
fun.
old and fat.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
and the-
that's me.
Oh,
Never
I
mind.
thought your camper.
So what
was
happens
like
camper is
at
too.
when you're camping all night long?
we going back into the swap. You're not confined
Oh,
to the
yeah.
camp space. You can
No.
go right back into the swap. You
when
got
they-
your wristband.
And there's
you have,
racing.
You have 24/7
Racing.
access to the swap.
Yeah. Plus
Yeah,
there's
the
plus
Friday
there's
night racing.
racing and all that stuff going on. Yeah.
All right, one last thing to remind you about camping. Like Tommy said, It is in a little bit of a sand bowl,
Yeah.
and there are no hookups. Not at the camping, not in the swap, not anywhere.
No. It's,
Bring a generator.
There are tons of porta-johns, and they're way less disgusting at some other super large, shall we call it motorsports swap meet that I've been to, that I
Yeah,
don't go to
okay.
anymore.
Oh, in
but
the North
there's
Metro area.
in the North Metro area, but there's no hookups. You're on your own. You get porta-johns, but there's no water, there's no electricity, and definitely no sewer.
All right then.
All right.
Depends.
Depends.
Um,
All right.
I saw what you did there.
Tips for swappers. Group your parts by make, please. If you got 50-50 Polaris and Arctic, put the Polaris at one end and the Arctic at the other. If you're heavy on one make, say you got 90% Yamaha, but you got 10% Polaris,
then stay home.
put a goddamn sign out so people know you brought some Polaris stuff. Don't just smatter it in. You know, and it's the same thing. If you got 90% Polaris and 10% Yamaha, if you just smatter that Yamaha in there, the Yamaha guys are going to walk right by and go, it's a bunch of Polaris stuff. Group it, label
And
it,
then label it. Yeah.
put a
that's-
sign on it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously your site's 90% Polaris, 10% Arctic Cat. Say, right here's my Arctic Cat pile, right? Because sledders are very brand loyal, and this will help you sell that stuff that's, I don't know how to say it, oddball to you, right?
Yeah.
Price fairly, but expect haggling. It's a swap meet,
Always.
and we've all been watching American Pickers for 15 years. We're gonna
Has
haggle.
it been that long?
I think so.
Oh my God.
Mike,
Yep.
What's Mike's last name?
I don't
Wolf.
know.
Wolf.
Wolf.
Mike Wolf. Yeah, yeah.
Met him several times.
Oh, yeah, and the other guys too, the pond guys.
Ben, yeah.
Yep. All right. Bargain bins do excellent. You thought you're going to throw out this bin of small stuff? Why would you throw it out? Just put it in a bin and bring it to the swap and make it
Dollar
your
each.
dollar bin.
You got some
Yeah.
old bearings? Tommy might buy them.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just about out.
And if you want to get rid of all the crap in your bin, just start telling people take the whole bin for $5. It'll go away.
Yep.
And that brings us to the next point.
Ooh.
Your junk may be a treasure to someone else. Or not.
Or not.
If it's left over at the end of the swap, it wasn't.
But there is always a dumpster there. And
They always
garbage
have some
cans.
dumpsters and
that-
garbage cans.
What
So
I
you
always like
probably
looking
left
for is carburetors.
Oh, why you
So,
got to clean them all
I gotta
the time?
clean the
God.
cars.
Clean the
All right.
garbs.
Oh.
Clean the carbs.
You always find good old carburetors.
Oh yeah.
Carburetor tip. Never buy a carburetor at a swap meet without taking off the bowl and making sure that the towers for the float pivot aren't broken. All right.
And
Experienced.
Oh, we're getting to that. Bring the obscure stuff. Like Mascaro parts or Dolphin snowmobile parts. Does it get any more obscure than a Dolphin?
hey, Harley Davidson did make a
Eskimo.
snowmobile.
They did make
for
a
year.
snowmobile.
Harley
Now,
parts,
this is
yeah.
true.
That actually has a
Damn,
reasonable
yeah.
following,
Yeah.
and it's related to the skedaddler, and
Yep.
I like
this is
skedaddler.
true.
So when we say
But-
Harley parts, they got to be snowmobile Harley parts.
Yeah, true. So if nothing else, the obscure stuff makes a great conversation piece. People walk up and ask, "What the hell is this?" and then they stick around and have a beer with you,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. You make new friends. It's cool.
And that's not
But-
a bad tip either.
But
Have beer
if
for
somebody's
people.
talking to you about that obscure part and you see a guy down there holding up a part, hold that conversation for a minute.
Yep, great point. Try to engage everybody who stops by your swap table, and you may lose a sale if you ignore them.
Yeah.
And to Tommy's point, if you're involved in a in-depth conversation with this guy that you haven't seen for a year and you don't want to break away, and somebody's holding up a part, at least shout a price at him. And if nothing else, your buddy will wait 30 seconds while you go sell him the part, right? Shout him a lowball price if you want him gone quick. They'll just hand you the $5 and leave. But please don't be
Yeah, don't ignore people.
don't be the swapper that ignores people.
Yeah.
You're doing a disservice to yourself as well as them. All right. Back to bring your own supplies. Bring your own food. Bring your beverages. Bring your sunscreen. Right? And dress for the weather. Is this where we do the fashion show?
Oh my
you guys.
God.
I got to crack a freshie, so we're gonna
Apparently
take a
we're all
break.
wearing
Alright.
that shirt,
Yeah,
and I didn't
a little
know it.
dry
so
here, too.
Next time, I'll wear that.
We'll be right back with the Princeton fashion show.
Oh God.
Oh,
How you doing?
He's gonna do the more conservative.
Well,
All right.
what is it?
This is the nutter for the Princeton swap. We'll bring you the Tommy, but this is your hot weather person. No Crocs, no socks. Don't go sock crocking.
Now, what if it's muddy out?
We'll get to that. This is hot weather.
and then what do you got?
Shorts. Get your Nutter Speed Shop shirt. Cut the sleeves off. If it's going to be 90 degrees, cut the darn sleeves off. And then beer sling.
Make sure
And
you got a beer sling.
I know there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people watching this video that have seen me walking the swap dressed just like this with this beer sling.
What's wrong with just a cooler?
Well, you can do a cooler, but then you need to bring a wagon.
Yeah, but you got to have these really cool Terminator glasses that have red, white,
American
and blue
flag on
on
'em.
'em. Yeah.
Yeah.
White and blue on the glasses and the Crocs.
Terminator,
And the Crocs.
Terminator
I'm
glasses
coordinated.
with Crocs.
Oh, you may
there you
even
go.
see him wearing
All right,
his
so-
Western boots.
Or a more typical person is the Tommy.
So you're more average
This
individual.
is the way you'll see me, rain or shine.
Work or play?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
There's
Wore
your
out
Princeton
shoes.
fashion show.
Are those
All right,
Nikes?
now
All right, so we got one thing to mention here. We got one big thing to mention. Don't do the Mike Strat. You can go back to last year's videos and you can see Mike with a shirt cut off right about here.
all right, no halvesies.
Don't
no,
do that, or
no.
no shirt at all. Don't do that. Wear a shirt, please, people.
Yeah.
Even
We
if
gotta
you-
do this.
Even if you're all tanned out and everything.
We do this
I
as a
don't know.
Well,
courtesy to each other.
except for the ladies, you can do whatever you want.
Right, but we're
It's-
talking ratio, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the
if
wiener
you
ratio
go
is
there looking
really
for
bad
a
at this
woman,
place. So.
We wear shirts as a courtesy to each other. We hope everyone will reciprocate.
I've been awake for like
All right.
7 or 8 hours today.
Still wearing my
coming to the
shades
end
and my
here.
beer
I'm
sling.
gonna
okay.
wait for a whole hour.
I don't have my cheaters on, so it gets sketchy from here. All right. Big tip for everybody. Watch last year's video. Just
Are
check
you
it
gonna
out.
link it?
Huh?
Put a link down here.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description. There's actually 2 videos, I think, from last year.
I think so.
Make
Yeah.
it easy for you.
Yep.
Or you can peruse through and just watch other videos along the way.
There's a lot of good videos.
Well,
out
watch
there.
all our old videos, but definitely watch last year's video. That's a good tip for anybody going to the swap for their first time. You know, I don't get in and haggle and stuff, but you'll see some prices a little bit, anyways.
When you arrive, if you want to, like be together or park together, then arrive together.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
If you got 5 guys coming in that want adjacent swap spots, you better show up
show
together.
up together, yeah.
Even then, there's no guarantee.
Because
Right.
you can't save a spot.
Right, but
No.
you could get kind of separated, and at that point you can kind of. I mean, in the past, we used to, the Vintage Sledders group, we'd have 10 vehicles rolling in, and we took both sides of the aisle, you know.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit accommodating, but there's such a frenzy to try to get the land. They can't
hire
really
high
say-
I
schoolers
think
now
that
to
was a
do the parking.
CCVSC
Yeah.
that many years
Oh
ago.
yeah, that was CCVSC. You're 100% correct
Yep.
on that.
All right, buyer tips.
Ooh.
And we're going to start this with a tip. We're going to do one last swapper tip. Bring some change.
Yes.
And I don't mean pennies and nickels and dimes.
Dollars.
I mean
Dollars,
dollar bills and $5
bills,
bills and
pennies.
$10 bills.
Yeah.
Bring some change with you, at least seed change to start the swap. All right, buyer tips. Cash only. Nobody's taking a check.
And they definitely don't have the little
There is
cubes on their
Well,
phone.
some might.
No.
Well, if you're
They're-
up buying, if
they're-
you're up buying new clothes and stuff, they'll do that because there's a lot of
Yeah.
vendors up near the racetrack that will
Yeah.
do that.
That's the
but
vendors.
vendors.
though.
Right,
Those are
exactly.
vendors.
in the swap, it's cash only. There
Yeah.
will be ATMs on site,
Yes, there will.
but don't necessarily count on that.
The
Bring
old
your-
rule applies. Cash is king.
Yep, bring your cash. And don't be afraid to show cash when you're haggling, right?
Yep, cash is
Somebody
king.
wants $150 for something, you show them a $100 bill. A lot of times they go,
Okay.
Huh, $100 bill. And I will tell you this, I have given discounts to people when I sold a sled once, and the guy I was asking 800, the guy goes 600. I said $100 bills or 20s? Hundreds. Okay, he got it for $600. If we were going to sit there and count 20s for 5 minutes, he was going to pay 7. So just think about that. People do like $100 bills on big ticket items. All right. Ah, Brad's here.
Hey,
Brad!
Brad, you know what you gotta do?
Clean the carbs.
Clean the garbs.
I'll drink to that.
All right. I've mentioned this before, but if everything is negotiable, and if it's not, just walk away. If you think something's worth $20 and the guy goes 50 and then he goes firm price, bye. Well, don't even say bye.
Come
Just
back
walk.
Saturday after.
Don't argue. Just
Sunday.
walk. Yep, come back
Come
later
back on
maybe.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Saturday.
That guy might remember you later and go, hey.
You.
Always try for bundle deals. This is great if you're a Polaris guy or an Arctic Cat guy or whatever, and you find a seller that's selling mostly stuff of your brand. You could probably get a pretty good bundle deal out of that.
Yeah.
So be the bundler.
Not
Once-
the bungler.
Not the bumbler,
Yeah, that.
bundler.
Once
Bundle-
again,
bundle-
if the price is
Not the
crazy,
bumbler.
don't even make a counter offer.
Yeah.
If somebody says 500 on something you think is $50, just leave.
See
But
ya.
if it's not marked, ask. And hopefully they paid attention to our tip about not ignoring you and you get an answer. If you're there to buy and you're there for the day, get there early Friday. Don't show up at 1 o'clock. It's pretty picked over by
Yeah,
then.
it's well picked over.
Yep. New swappers, to counter the previous point, new swappers will be coming in on Saturday morning. People that worked Friday, quite a few. So don't be shy about just showing up for the day on Saturday.
That's the
However,
benefit of camping. You're there.
if you're camping, you're there. Just be aware that a lot of times it's done by noon or 1 or 2 o'clock on Saturday. There's no set time. It just ends when it ends. Tip your hauler again, and don't forget they try to donate stuff to charity. Don't you got one more sheet?
Another thing I thought of.
I think that's it.
Don't forget to ask if you're looking for something. A lot of people but they got a trailer full of parts.
Yeah, they can only
Yeah.
they can only put out so much of like everything that they have, and they'll have a whole bunch more in their trailer. So if you don't see it out there, just ask. Hey, look,
Yeah.
I'm looking for a '96 XLT, blah blah blah, right? And they'll
They'll say, oh yeah.
yeah,
I've done that
yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
I didn't even bring a tub out because you get busy and it never even made it out. And you realize suddenly
happens all the
dang it.
time.
Or,
Yeah.
assuming you stopped at another site that's with your brand, Polaris guys for us, and we stop at a Polaris swapper, hey, I need a blah, blah, blah. That guy may have been out shopping and seen one 3 rows up. He'll usually
Right,
tell
he
you.
would know.
This is true. Yep, absolutely.
All right, I think we're pretty close to the end of the video.
God, I hope so.
I know it's been a long video.
Sorry to hold you on so
But
long.
we are going to, like I said, we're going to do another patron video after this with our favorite Princeton swap stories, probably mostly me and Tommy. And speaking of
thank you.
patrons, want to say a huge thank you to the patrons.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you at the swap meet.
Well, we're not done
Well, the
yet.
patrons.
We really,
I know the patrons.
we
will be
really
there.
appreciate your support of the channel. We appreciate other people that have supported us over the years. I can't remember everybody, but obviously Swap Hauler Brian has supported us with some beers at the swap.
Yep.
Alan from Vermont usually has a cash donation whenever we see him. We thank you, Alan. Indie Guy Rob has supported us. Tony Hoffer has supported us. If I forgot you, I appreciate it. Never Enough TX is Charlie, who will be there at the swap almost for sure. Used to support us with other donations before he became a patron. Dr. Mario, of course, supports us with parts.
Yeah, and visit Dr. Mario. He'll be there.
Yep, Dr. Mario will be there. Make sure you visit him.
Message him ahead of time. Let him
yeah.
know what you want.
Great tip.
Yes, it is. That's a great tip.
if
If you're
you-
looking for something specific that Dr. Mario might have, if
He
you
obviously
ping him,
can't bring it all.
yeah, if you ping
He's
him
got
ahead of
barns
time,
full
he'll
of stuff.
throw it in.
And we're gonna-
same with Charlie, Never Enough TXs.
Yep.
Yeah.
He will bring the stuff. He's over the other side of
Yep.
Wisconsin, but he does a lot of nice fiberglass parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
if
just
you're
let
looking
them
for
know
that.
what you're looking
Yep.
for ahead of time, so they can throw it in and make sure they bring it with them.
Yep. Those are a couple of our favorite Polaris suppliers. If you're into Skidoo, insert
Brad's
the
over there
name of
making
your
faces
Skidoo
and
guys. You know,
So much for the end of the
you
video.
get the idea. All right, so huge thanks to the patrons. We really appreciate your support.
You already did that.
If people that don't know, the patrons sign up on the Patreon and they give us a small monthly donation, and it covers the pizza, the beers, maybe some parts, whatever else. It's awesome. It keeps
Thank
us
you.
going. The main thing is, especially during these off months, we're making videos for the patrons more than we are for you guys. That's what keeps us going. This video, I mean, we could have just signed off for the summer, and you know, we maybe would have done like a video or in the summer, or maybe one a month or something.
20
You
bucks.
gonna sell that worn out belt? Throw that in the garbage.
20 bucks.
I'll give
Why-
you five-
why
I'll
is
give you
that
five.
still
no,
here?
No.
Wait, I'd run that.
All right,
I'd run that.
everybody. Thanks.
Belt.
Please hit subscribe. Leave a comment. Ask questions about the swap. Not that I know everything. I may direct you to the website. And we will see you at the
See you
Princeton
at the
Outlaw
swap.
Grass Drag Swap.
Woo!
Good timing. Not a beer.